Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our 4-part series on science debate, the event we had a few weeks ago in the lead up to the US presidential election. This was a very special behind the scenes debate with Councilman Ben Kallos. Now, Ben is a huge supporter of science and the scientific method, as he's about to talk about, but he was also just a wonderful guest to support science in the city of New York, a city that has dealt with climate change and the effects thereof. So it's good to know that the people that run this place actually care about science. Check out the interview. Hi, I'm Jayde from the Young Turks, and I'm here with Council Member Ben Kallos. Ben, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for watching. You can tweet me at Ben Kallos or hit me up on social media there or even on GitHub.
Now, Ben, you're very important in the local area. Tell us about what you do.
I'm a New York City Council member. I represent 168,000 people in the city of New York and a city of 8.4 million. And I have to make decisions every day. And I like to make those decisions based on science.
Now, this whole event, we're here at the science event here at YouTube Studios, promoting science in the context of the election and getting the candidates to talk more about science. So when you're making decisions, how does science impact them?
Well, for me, they impact them a lot. I'm always reaching out to scientists anywhere and everywhere to help me make decisions. But sometimes they're less responsive because for scientists, a lot of times they're in universities, they're teaching, they're getting published, but we're always reaching out and trying to make decisions in government based on science. I've actually gotten a little bit of getting made fun of by some of my colleagues because I've said things like we should use the scientific method to make decisions in government, and actually when we have a hypothesis, test it before enacting new legislation.
So you're really just a scientist at heart.
So I actually went to the Bronx High School of Science, and actually one of my classmates ended up starting a blog called Starts With a Bang, and now Ethan Siegel's writing with Forbes, and I'm actually hoping that viewers like you, when you see something you like, you'll share it with your friends, you'll share it with elected officials, and ask them to use it to inform their decisions.
Now, we're talking about science and how it's being used in the context of this election. So of the 69 questions that have been asked to the presidential candidates, only one so far has been about science in any way. It was an energy-based question. So why do you think that science should be discussed more in the election?
I think we're up against a challenge, which is elected officials don't seem to like to talk about science. And I think it's partially because elected officials might be concerned that people may not understand science. Science has its own vocabulary, but I would hope that they might take a lead from scientists like Bill Nye or Neil deGrasse Tyson, who've made a career of talking about science, and that we can actually do a better job educating children throughout this country in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, so that science can be part of the dialogue.
That's right. Now, one of the sponsors of this event tonight is the Union of Concerned Scientists. As a scientist at heart, what are you most concerned about?
I think all of us are concerned about climate change. We see the polar ice caps melting, we see the water raising, we see storms like we've never seen before. Here in the city of New York, we're spending millions, if not billions, on resiliency and preparing for the next Sandy and climate change. And it's pretty scary that people running for office in the United States of America don't believe in climate change. And that's something we have to do something about. And we can make sure that scientists and anyone who actually cares about science is letting their elected officials know that climate change is one of their top issues.
Now, last question for you, Ben. If you could ask one question to our two political candidates, what question would that be?
I think it comes back to climate change, which is very real, something that's affecting Americans every day, and whether or not they believe in climate change and forget belief, whether or not they'll accept the scientific method, and when scientists release something in a peer-reviewed journal and people have accepted it, whether or not they will rely on scientists to make better decisions for government and for the people of the United States of America.
Now, I wish you could ask that question to the candidates. It's a really good one. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, and thank you so much for making decisions for New York City that are based on science. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. If you're interested in checking out the whole event, you can watch it on TYT Interviews. Here's the link to watch the first panel, which was with Namiki Konst, Chuck Nice, Emily Ehlert from Minute Physics, and Aaron Carroll from the YouTube channel Healthcare Triage. And here's the link to watch the second panel, which was a science-focused panel with former Congressman Rush Holtz, with Nobel Prize winner Harold Varmus, with the president of Research America, Mary Woolley, TED speaker Majora Carter, and New York Times journalist Andy Revkin. Please check them out. They're wonderful. And remember, vote for science.